Hello fellow gamers and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is Magdon's guide to soloing Eridanus. I recommend starting this at level 44, but we'll be using the rapier bow build featured in an upcoming video, so we will throw caution to the wind and start at 42. Somebody stop me. At the time of making this video, Magdon's bow skill is maxed out at level 20 and his rapier skill is at level 18, so that tells you the bow rapier build video is next. As always, your gear and weapon skills are a determining factor on your success when you first arrive. If you've been following our other solo videos and grinding out those elite areas, then your skills should be mature enough to start this at least at level 44, as most of the mobs here are 46 level elites. As always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and let's get started. So phase one is always going to be, how do we get to our starting point where we're going to actually do our break-in? Obviously coming through the front door never really works because the mobs are usually thicker and grouped in twos or fours. In this case, most of the mobs are grouped in twos with a pather as a third option. For those of you who don't know, Eridanus is sitting smack dab in the middle of Restless Shores and is listed as a level 46 5-player elite location. Of course, we are going to attempt to ignore that. So for the purposes of this, we're going to kind of skirt around the rocks until we get to about this area against the wall. And when I'm there, this is nighttime right now, not good for making videos, but for the purposes of getting us to where we want to be, it should be sufficient and fine. You're going to try to avoid most of the mobs by skirting. You'll see those mobs there. It's a good indicator. We may even get aggro from them as we walk past here, but if we do, we'll lose it quite, and we did. We're gonna lose it very quickly once we move up here. So just follow this crack. Kind of got the you've got the wall here to your left, and obviously we have some friends back there. All right. So we kind of followed the crack on the right-hand side of the wall. You can see we're basically nestled here. Before I go any further, and obviously we'll wait till daylight before we do this so it's easier to see, there is a nice little spot, nice little green spot down there where you can set your camp, and that's where I set mine. Anyway, so once you get to here, this is our starting spot, and we can move on to phase two, which is the actual break-in. All right, phase two is all about the break-in. When you first arrive, it is important that you stick to a single mob, which is why we are illustrating this with a level 42. It is possible to separate mobs if you use the terrain to your advantage for this purpose, as we will show. Note that all mobs are on a 10-minute timer. We are going to navigate to our first victim, which starts our timer and our rotation of kills. Be sure to know your escape route if things go wrong. It uses less resources to back out, heal, and then go in again, rather than spam healing and food. For this first mob, you will be committed and in close quarters. Start by going to the wall, hug the wall, loot the chest that is here, careful of aggro from those two mobs up there. And we are going to go ahead and start attacking our first victim. Alright, I apologize. It's probably not the best video in the world when you're in such close quarters, but unfortunately, there is no other way to take out this first initial mob. Of course, obviously, there's a chest here for your trouble. So that starts our timer. We have 10 minutes, and we can move on to mob 2. All right, it's time for us to take the second mob in our rotation. There are a couple mobs over there, as you can see, so we want to make sure we do not get aggro from them. Nice thing about this guy is we can actually kind of go around the corner a little bit, and that's going to draw him closer to us and further away from that mob. Gives us a chance to actually do a little bit of healing. But as always, rapier is your friend. And like I mentioned, this guy has a lot of animations. You'll notice I'm kind of swerving around him. He has a lot of animations that sticks him in one position, and so sometimes you can get a crit attacks at his back. Right now I've got him up against a tree. Dodge to avoid those works. All right, that takes care of mob 2. All right, I'm gonna go show the pull here, the separate. There's 2 mobs there. One, a shaman on the other side of the pillar, and of course, the archer there. We're gonna use this little alcove here to our advantage. At 42, just probably like 44 as well, those tank-like mobs are really tough to take at these low levels. But the archers are very easy, and of course we've already taken the first 2 shamans. So we're going to use a little bit of the pathing here to our advantage to get this mob out of the way. So I don't really consider it one of our mobs per se, but you notice he's coming to me up here, right? And he has this tendency where, for whatever reason, he's only pathing there, and then he comes and he paths back. So I'm going to get him out of the way so that we can move on to the other mobs in our rotation. So hopefully you have a ranged attack that you would be able to do this. I'm trying to avoid him going over there and actually aggroing the other mob that's there. And these guys can hit extremely hard. So like I said, get him when you first come here. You're not just take him ranged, get him out of the way, and try not to, and then just move on to the other mobs in the rotation. It's unfortunate, but in the later levels, we'll probably be able to take him. I could probably whittle him down to about maybe 25% health, and be able to finish him off with the rapier, but it would take some resources. And you can see that he even hits me. He even hits me when I'm here. Just to illustrate how much these hurt, here. Look, I'm at half health already. Half health and I just dropped. Alright, with him out of the way, it opens us up to take some mobs that are a little bit easier to fight. both the archer and the kind of shaman dude that's over there. So continuing on with our next victim, we are going to coax the archer into coming up here and fighting us. And again, he is a mob that likes to stay at ranged. So if you are a ranged individual and you still have skill up points that are required, you can sit here and just kind of duke it out with him at ranged. Magdon's bow is already maxed, so I would like to get him in close so I could get some skill on my rapier, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. And that leaves us open to take our next target. So let's go ahead and take our shaman before these mobs respawn. We have to be careful. There's 4 mobs there. And so we're going to want to try to coax him around the corner, or at least closer to us, so that we can finish him off. Because he's going to want to stay at ranged as well. As you can see. Okay, look, that chest is respawned. So I'm going to see if I can coax him closer to us. And even from here, as you can see, he's really just throwing his little poison bombs. And I've already got him down to half. Like I said, I would rather like to get him to do rapier, but and I've noticed I've been here long enough that this chest has respawned again. And now that we've cleared these 3 mobs, there is a chest here as well. I believe there's a chest over there. So as you can see, the mobs up there have already respawned at this low level. Obviously, if you're here at later levels, you're going to be able to go through this much quicker. Alright, before we complete this rotation, there is one more single mob down here that we can get to. It'll force us to go back around to get back up to the top, but he is far enough away from those 2 mobs and everything on this bridge that we can go down there and duke it out with him. If anything, just at ranged. You don't necessarily have to get within melee range if you don't want to. I'm going to attempt to with this one. But we're going to go ahead and pull him, soften him up a little bit. Don't want to aggro anything on the bridge to my right, and obviously don't want to aggro the mobs there on the left. So we'll soften him up. Alright, so that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spawn points that you should be able to keep even at, if you start coming here at level 44, you should be able to go ahead and keep those. And then, like I said, we're going to have to kind of make our way around, which is inadvertently going to get me some aggro. But that pretty much brings this video to a close. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you get a lot of skill ups while you are here. Thanks, guys. See you next time.